I get asked so many questions like, Joe, what are the best fat loss tips? Joe, what should I do for cardio? Joe, how do I build muscle? Joe, how do I get abs? But at the end of the day, I was finally asked. I don't think I've ever been asked this before. People have addressed it, but never really specifically asked me, say, Joe, what are the best tips and how do I develop a mindset like yours? And I'm going to go over that with you in today's episode. So typically somebody always says, and I hear this all the time, like, Joe, you're 30 years old and like you have so much wisdom, you have so much knowledge, like your mindset is so sharp, man. Like, and that's it, right? Just like a compliment. But no one's really asked me, like, Joe, what are some tips on how to improve, right? Like, how did you improve your mindset? And I want to share with you guys exactly how I got this. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just a mindset that is goal-oriented. It's a mindset that is set up for success. It is a mindset that is just, within a doubt, just relentless, so to speak. So I want to go over that. I want to go over 3 tips about my mindset, how I developed the mindset, and potentially how it can help you on your journey of just becoming the best version of yourself. I'm huge when it comes to mindset. I always tell everybody this, that like Heartletics used to be known as like, hey, we're going to help you lose some weight, yada, 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 right? But now it's like, hey, we're really going to focus on you becoming the best version of yourself. And that means really challenging our members' mindset and pushing for greatness for them and holding them accountable to that. The weight loss, the fat loss, like that's easy. Trust me, like that's the icing on the cake. Like they shouldn't be worried about that. Nobody is. Like no coaches, like no members, like they know it's the inevitable. It's going to happen. What we're geared towards, right, is really shifting and molding somebody's mindset because that has the everlasting change. And I want to share with you guys a little bit about my mindset. So for starters, I got lots of different resources, lots of different things throughout the several years that I've been focusing the most on my mindset. And I want to go over some tips with you guys, but it's not just me all by myself. Like there's like all these different tools, all these different resources, and I use them to favor me into becoming the best version of myself and sharpening up my mindset even more. So for starters, let's go all the way back to about the time I was 19, 20-ish, around that age. I was in a very toxic relationship at the time. And long story short, I'll just say it like this. Like, I was so emotionally and mentally weak. Like, I would say that the reason why we were in that toxic relationship had a lot more to do with me and my insecurities more than anything. Okay? And so I was in this relationship and it ended up going sour, and I found out some things that really crushed me and broke my heart. And at the end of the day, I wanted to commit suicide, right? I was in a very dark hole, very, very depressed. Okay. And that wasn't the first time actually, that I felt that way, not just in a relationship. There's been other times in my life where I get so in these dark rooted, deep paths where I can't see the end of the tunnel. I get so depressed in my own little funk where it's just like, man, this is hard. And this is why I put such an emphasis on mental health, right? And I'm the first one to tell you guys, like at the end of the day, like mental health is serious. It really is. Like mental health and emotional strength and all these things, like they should be focusing on this more in schools, more into our upbringings for our children to help them. Because, let's face it, I was that kid, 19, 20, right? Like guns blazing, six-pack abs, felt on top of the world. But internally, I was so mentally and emotionally weak. Okay? So during this little endeavor of almost committing suicide, I realized here that, I was staring literally at the bottom of a cliff, and I was like, all right, let's just try one more time before we jump, right? And this might sound like I'm coming off sarcastic, but like that's just my personality. I'm very open when it comes to talking about this, just because at the end of the day, like I want you guys to see that no matter what life happens to you and what storms you're going through, like you're always one decision away from a completely different life. Okay. So I had a little epiphany, and I said, hey, let's just start working on ourselves, right? Let's not do this, right? Let's just give it one more day. And from there, that was the start of me becoming who I am today, right? And during that path, right, like obviously lots of bumps and, hiccups and roadblocks and whatnot, but like it still was the start of the progression where I didn't quit. I didn't give up on life. I didn't just say, hey, life sucks right now. I got nothing going for me and I just got my heart broke, so I'm just going to die, right? Like I said, no, I'm going to survive. I'm going to push through, give it one more attempt. And so that was the start of me working on myself. I started going to yoga classes. I started focusing on just reading self-help books. That's really when I started with meditation. And, it was like the yoga, they talked about meditation because you got to work on your breath, right? These different yoga poses and whatnot. And I'll be honest, right? Like I started going to yoga just because there was a bunch of hot chicks there. Like it had nothing to do at all with self-help. But I remember the instructor. Her name was Amy. And, she just had us focus on a breathing, just laying there breathing. And I just remember like the sense of like peace and calming just overtake me. And I never felt anything like that before. And I actually went up to her afterwards and I said, hey, you had us to go through like this breathing exercise. And I just kind of felt like my whole body it's kind of like an outer body experience almost. And she said, hey, yeah, it would sound like you were in a deep meditation, like trance. You should look into that a little bit more on your own. And I did, and that's what led to kind of like the meditation route. The meditation route led to the visualization route. The visualization route led to affirmations and snowball, right? Like that, it's just started to trend from there. So, and like I said, during this time period, right, there's lots of hiccups, lots of ups and downs. But this is where I focused more on, hey, even though I look good with my shirt off, like at the end of the day, I'm mentally and emotionally weak. And I realize here that this is something that a lot of guys probably struggle with, but just have a hard time with actually bringing that up from to the surface and letting that off their chest. So this is where the journey really begins. And my 3 tips for you has nothing to do with like gratitude, affirmations, meditation, visualization, because you guys hear me talk about that all the time in mindset, episodes and topics and videos that I kind of go over and address. I want to share with you guys my thought pattern when it comes to developing my mindset and literally like my mindset, what it is that I think about, how I think about things. And it all stems, before we get to those 3 thought patterns that I have, 3 books. 3 books, and you guys know, like, I'm always the person that's telling you guys, hey, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Readers are leaders. Like, at the end of the day, like, there's been different mindset coaches, mindset programs I've been in, leadership roles, all this stuff. But regardless, like, whatever kind of criteria you're going through, you have to acquire that knowledge. And books is a great way, whether it's audiobooks, whether it's reading books, whatever the case may be, right? Books is a great way to acquire that knowledge. Here are 3 books that honestly, like, if you want just a different perspective of life, and I always say this, like, you got to be open-minded. You truly have to be open-minded. The minute you decide to just be open-minded and look into all perspectives of life, it's a lot easier to go through life. It really is, If you're just stuck in your shell, stuck in your ways, it's very hard. Honestly, it really is. Because when life throws you curveballs, you don't see that it could actually be a blessing in disguise. So my perspective that I want to teach you as well as our members is just like, hey, when something happens in your life, don't respond, don't react. Just take a step back and observe. That's it. Like, think about it like this. Is what's really affecting you or eating you up emotionally, like, one, is it serious? In the next 5 years, are you going to be worried about it? If the answer is no, then don't stress about it now. Easier said than done, but it's a practice, right? Developing a strong mindset, it's a practice. So 3 books to kind of help you out with that is 1, Man's Search for Meaning. I kid you not, I absolutely love this book simply because I love, like, learning about, like, World War II and war and all that stuff, but also just knowing that these prisoners in these concentration camps, like, they have everything taken away from them. Everything. but yet their thoughts, the positive, thinking that they had, and even being grateful for the midst of the little things that they had inside these concentration camps, it just puts you in a different perspective of how you view life. That's all I gotta say. It's from Viktor Frankl. Go read the book. Go listen to the audiobook. It's great. Man's Search for Meaning. The second one is the power of positive thinking. I hate when people tell me like, "Oh, Joe, don't just be positive all the time. Like, that's not the reality." No, it is the reality. Like, the reality is this. Like, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. It's just you need to look at the glass being half full rather than half empty. You never know what God, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it, is throwing your way to prepare you for a better path, prepare you for a better future. Just because one door closes doesn't mean it's the end of your life. No, it could be simply just a greater thing is slowly approaching. So, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale, great book. And the last one is one that is just going to give you all the motivation within. And like when my son's old enough, this is the one book that I honestly want him to focus and dive into the most. And that is Awaken the Giant Within from Tony Robbins. A great book just talking about being relentless and going after your passion and just also not letting anything kind of hold you back. So 3 great books. I highly recommend checking them out. Now, let's go into 3 of my thought patterns and why I think the way that I think and how I view life. And this is just me. This is why I think my mindset is set up for success. This is why I think I'm just very who I am as a coach, right? So my first thought pattern is I don't believe in failure, like at all. Like I don't think it is a thing at all. Who was it? It was Thomas Edison, right? That made the light bulb. Took him like 1,000 tries, and he just said like, "Hey, I just found out like 999 reasons on how not to make a light bulb." Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, right? Missed all these shots, lost all these games, but he said like that's what led to his success. It's like you only fail when you quit in life, and I almost quit in life by literally committing suicide. I'm a winner, like hands down. Like I'm a winner because I decide to not do something that could have been dramatic and devastating, right? So it's just like I have that winner mindset regardless, that every single day, hey, I woke up, there's breath in my lungs, I got a lot to be grateful for, thanking God every single day for the life that I'm living right now and the pathway that I'm going. And hey, I don't believe in failure at all. It's just that when storms get sent over my way and things don't go the way that I want it to be as planned, who knows? It might be just teaching me a lesson to become even better and focusing on developing either a stronger mindset or a different game plan or whatever the case may be. Or it might be like you on your fat loss journey. Let's say you get an injury or you get sick or you're traveling. Well, hey, it might be just a little roadblock. That's all. It's not like it's going to take you off your path. Like as long as you have a good GPS that's telling you where to go to reach your goals, reach your end destination, that GPS is going to reroute you anytime there's a traffic jam or a roadblock or a detour. Like just think about that. Honestly, think about that. So, one, how I think, I don't believe in failure at all. I believe in, hey, some things worked, some things didn't work, but I don't believe in failing at all. The second thing that, like, honestly, hopefully this changes your perspective on things is that I know without a doubt I'm going to succeed. So, like, the first one is obviously, like, I don't believe in failure. But the second one is I just know I'm going to succeed. It might be because of all the meditation I do, the visualization. Regardless, I just know I'm going to succeed. It's pure confidence. It's pure faith and trust and believing, knowing that, hey, I'm going to succeed. Like, without a doubt. And it's just like, if I'm not there yet, it's not the end of the story. Right? The stories continue to be written. And it's not in my timing. And this is the biggest thing that I see guys struggle with in terms of their fat loss journey. Is like they know they're going to succeed. But then when things don't go their way or in the timing that they want, they try to control the situation. It's like they're suffocating it. Right? And they're putting that goal up on a pedestal. And then it just falls off and crumbles. So at the end of the day, like they don't actually succeed because they almost just like made it harder for themselves by putting it out there that like, hey, I'm not going to trust it. I'm going to take full ownership and control the situation at hand. And once again, sometimes you don't know when life throws you curveballs or opportunities or closed doors come your way. It might be a blessing in disguise. So I say it like this, my goals, I'm going to reach them. I know I'm going to succeed. It's just, I'm not putting a timestamp on it. I'm not saying it's going to happen like this. And I just know that whenever a curveball comes my way, it might be just a little detour to get me right on track to where I'm trying to get to. But without a doubt, I have pure trust. I have pure faith, right? I believe I am going to be successful. And you need to have the same mindset. Whatever your goals is, burning body fat, starting a business, making more money, you got to be relentless and you got to be obsessed with knowing, right? I don't mean be obsessed with your goals, right? And just focusing on it and that's all it is. Like, no, you got to have faith. You got to have trust and be obsessed knowing that you will have success. You will achieve your goals. Like, stop worrying about the how, because sometimes we can't see the how. We can't see we can't, forecast and predict the future. Steve Jobs said it best, RIP. He said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward in life, only connecting the dots looking backwards in life. So it's just like, I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know, hey, it's going to happen, baby. I'm going to have success. I'm going to achieve my goals. So that's the second thought patterns that I always have. And the last one is this. I truly believe life is a video game. And I don't mean like some kind of like matrix shifting and people controlling us. I mean just like how I view video games is how I view my life. Imagine you playing The Sims, right? Or like Skyrim or anything where it's a character, you're at level 1, you got to work on developing it to make it bigger and stronger, or else you can't defeat those bosses because, hey, you're not strong enough. You don't have the certain skill levels. That's how I view my life. And every single day I'm playing the game of life, and every single day I'm trying to improve on it. This is why we coach and we teach our members, hey, 1% better each and every day. That's the mentality. Like, stop trying to complete the video game overnight. It's not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. What you need to be focusing on is, hey, how do we play each and every day and develop a stronger mindset, develop better character sets to help us? That's it. Like, I love who I am today. It's a lot better than who I was last year, a lot better than who I was 5 years ago, a lot better than who I was definitely 10 years ago. But who I am today is nothing compared to who I'm going to be with the mindset at 35, at 40, at 45, at 50. Like, I'm in great shape. I have a great mindset right now. Business is going great. Like, it's awesome. But this is nothing. This is pebbles, honestly, compared to the rock, the stone, the boulder of a man, of a human being that I'm going to be in the future. Why? Because I don't settle for average. And I don't settle for, okay, I hit my goals and that's it. Like, no. I got one life to live. I want to leave a legacy. I want to go after all my goals because this is what makes life fun. I don't know many people that like to play a video game. They beat the video game and they're like, oh, next week, hey, let's play the video game all over again. And then they beat it. And then the following week, oh, let's play the video game all over again. That's boring. That's a boring life. So I love embracing new challenges, and that's why I love entrepreneurship so much and having my own business, because I'm always trying to progress and grow and grow and grow. I'm always trying to focus on my mindset. How do I develop more and more and more? With me being a father, right, a dad, like it's just like, how do I become the best dad there is and always work on that? How do I become the best husband I can be and always work on that? And like, that's why I focus so much on the 4 pillars of success. Your physical, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual. And I know that each and every day I'm playing in these 4 pillars to make them all grow. Right? Because you can't just focus on one and not the others. You can't just focus on 3 and not the 1. Right? That foundation needs to be strong and sturdy. And that's it. Plain and simple. Like, that's how I view life. That's how this mindset is how it is. And like, my mindset is probably going to change next year. And then the following year and change. And then following and always, because it's always developing. It's always progressing. And so my 3 tips for you, right, is 1, sometimes that pain, right, when life, closes a door and, you might be going through a storm right now, you don't see the end of the tunnel. Good. Embrace the pain, because who knows? Maybe it's actually preparing you for a better future. Maybe it's actually making you stronger in the end. Like anytime like those you curveballs, think about that just like being these mental reps, just like working out your physical body. And the second is just like never stop learning constantly, whether it's reading books, listening to audios, listening to podcasts, watching videos where just you're absorbing not the negativity on the news and social media, but stuff that you can actually do to actually improve your mindset, improve your life. So why? You can teach that to your family, you can teach that to your kids, teach it to your coworkers, your friends, and help them progress, help them grow also. I gave you 3 great book recommendations, right? Man's Search for Meaning, The Power of Positive Thinking, and Awaken the Giant Within. Great books to just start off with. But understand this, the mindset that I have right now as Coach Joe, I'll repeat them again, right? Here are my 3 thought patterns constantly, without a doubt. Here's what I firmly believe. 1, I don't believe in failure at all. 2, I know without a doubt I'm going to succeed. I don't know how, but I'm going to reach my goals. And I know for a fact it's going to happen. 3, I truly believe that every single day it's me like against myself. No competition out there. It's just me playing the Joe Callari video game, and how can I develop and make me stronger physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually each and every day. 1% better. That's it. And I know, once again, like my mindset's going to shift and change, and it will, and that's good, because I'm always looking to adapt, I'm always looking to learn, I'm always looking to progress. So these have been my tips for you. This is the Coach Joe mindset. This is the Heartletics podcast, and I hope you guys got some inspiration. I hope you guys got some value, and I hope from the bottom of my heart, if you're going through a storm right now, be grateful you are, because it's probably preparing you for a better pathway, a better future. You just need to understand and have full faith that it's not over until you win at the end of the day. So don't give up. 1 foot in front of the other, and I promise you, you will eventually achieve your goals and have success. Guys, this has been the Heartletics podcast with Coach Joe, and as always, I'll talk to you next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.